Rain drummed softly against the glass walls of the Marcellus estate, turning the night into a shimmering blur of lights and water. Inside, the silence was too perfect. Polished floors, quiet halls, and a tension that clung to the air, like perfume. Foam. Elias Marcellus, 33, the youngest billionaire in the city, sat in the dim glow of his study. The fireplace hissed and cracked, shadows crawling over his face. His tailored shirt was undone at the collar, and his eyes, sharp calculating, carried a kind of exhaustion money could never cure. He had built an empire out of nothing but ruthless decisions. People feared him, admired him, but no one truly knew him, well, except, perhaps, the maid he couldn't stop noticing. Her name was Iris Vale, 23, quiet, painfully shy, always keeping her gaze low when he passed. She moved like a ghost through the mansion, cleaning, arranging, never speaking, and less spoken to. But it wasn't her silence that drew him, it was the strange gentleness in her eyes, the way she looked at the world as if trying not to disturb it. He'd seen hundreds of employees come and go, most trying to impress him or gain favor. But Iris, she never tried. She never looked for attention. She never looked for attention. And somehow, that bothered him. That night, something in Elias snapped. She's either pretending, he muttered, or she's different. His assistant Marcus had once said, "You can't trust anyone in this house. Not even the maid's house, not even the maid." Elias had built walls around himself after betrayals, a fiancé who'd sold his secrets, friends who'd turned to enemies. He'd stopped believing in sincerity long ago. So he decided to test her. The test he told the staff to leave early that night. Only Iris remained. Cleaning the master suite. Elias changed into casual clothes, loosened his tie, and stretched out on the couch near the window. He pretended to fall asleep. Through his half-closed eyes, he watched her enter the room. She moved quietly, barefoot on the marble, her brown hair tied loosely with a ribbon. Her hands were red from cleaning, her apron slightly damp. She thought he was asleep, and for a long moment she simply stood there, staring at him. Then she did something he didn't expect. She walked closer, hesitating, her expression unreadable. He could feel his heartbeat rise, though he kept perfectly still. She stopped beside him, her voice barely a whisper. "Sir, you shouldn't sleep here, you'll catch a cold." She gently lifted the blanket from the armchair and draped it over him, careful, tender, almost reverent. Then she knelt, and for a moment, Elias thought she was praying, but she wasn't. She was holding his hand. "I know you can't hear me," she murmured, her voice trembling. But thank you for giving me this job. You don't remember, but I owe you everything." His pulse quickened. "Oh me. Oh me." He kept still, his mind racing. Iris took a deep breath, her eyes glistening in the dim light. "When my father was in the hospital, no one would help. You signed that check, even though you didn't know me. You just said, 'Help her.' I promised I'd work hard to repay it, but you never even mentioned it again." Elias froze. That donation, he remembered. His company had received a letter years ago, begging for help with surgery expenses. He'd signed it without looking at the name. That had been her. He felt something twist inside him, guilt, maybe, or something deeper. "I thought you were cold," Iris whispered. "Everyone says so. But I know there's kindness underneath. I see it when you talk to the gardener, or when you look at the sunset and forget your phone is ringing." Her hand lingered on his, trembling slightly, then suddenly, she leaned closer, and he felt a soft pressure against his forehead, a kiss, barely there, a whisper of gratitude. "Thank you, Elias," she whispered. Then she pulled back, wiping her eyes quickly, and went back to cleaning, as if nothing had happened. The next morning, Elias found a letter on his desk. "Sir, please don't fire people because of me. I never meant to cause trouble. I'll find another job if it helps." Iris read it 3 times. For the first time in years, guilt, and something else, crept through his chest. Key. A few nights later, a storm swept through the city. The power went out, plunging the mansion into darkness. When Elias found Iris in the hall, lighting candles with shaking hands, she looked small and frightened in the flickering glow. "You don't have to be afraid," he said gently. "I'm not afraid of the storm," she whispered. "I'm afraid of losing this job. I can't afford another mistake." You haven't made one, he replied softly. Then, lightning flashed, glass shattered upstairs. Instinctively, Elias pulled her close, shielding her as shards rained down. She gasped, clutching his coat. You're safe, he murmured. When she looked up, her eyes glistened with emotion he didn't dare name. Iris, he said quietly, that night. When you thought I was asleep, I wasn't. Her breath caught. You heard me? He nodded. He nodded. Every word, tears filled her eyes. Or print it, you. I'm sorry, sir. I crossed the line. Who don't apologize, he interrupted. You showed me something real. Kindness without expecting anything back. Do you know how rare that is? Well, she looked at him for a long fragile moment before whispering. And yet, he said softly, I'm glad I do. Days later, Iris avoided him completely. And then, one afternoon she came to him with tearful resolve. I need to leave, she said. People are talking. They say I'm trying to get close to you for money or attention. I can't stay. Elias's voice hardened. I'll let them talk. He can't, she said. Your name matters. Mine doesn't, and before he could stop her, she was gone. The mansion turned cold again. The silence returned, but now it hurt. Weeks passed before Elias found a letter among his mail. Her handwriting, his mail, her handwriting. A thank you for everything. Please don't find me. I just need to take care of something that matters to me. Iris, he did find her. He couldn't not. It took him 3 weeks, but he tracked her to a small orphanage on the city's edge. The building was crumbling, yet filled with laughter. She was there, kneeling with children, helping them make paper kites. Her smile, though faint, was peaceful. When she saw him, her eyes widened. Oh, sir. I got your letter, he said softly. You told me not to find you. That's exactly why I had to. Why? Because I can't pretend you don't matter to me. She hesitated, then said, this place was my home, before I worked for you. After my mother died, I tried to keep it running, but we lost funding. The donation you made years ago, it saved this orphanage. That's why I came to work for you. Ole. I wanted to give back. Elias's throat tightened. You were saving this place all along. I didn't want you to think I was using you, she said softly. I just didn't want pity. He took her hands gently. You think pity made me come here? Her eyes lifted to his, confused. He smiled faintly. You gave me something money never could, peace. You made me remember who I was before I let the world harden me. Then he pulled an envelope from his coat. This is for the orphanage. Enough to rebuild it, hire teachers, give these kids a future. Tears spilled down her cheeks. Why are you doing this? Oh, because it matters to you, he said, and you matter to me. Before either could say more, a child inside screamed. A boy had fallen from the stairs. Without thinking, Elias rushed in, carrying the boy to his car with Iris by his side. Hours later, in the hospital, the doctor assured them the boy would recover. Iris collapsed in relief. Elias watched her cry, realizing the truth. He hadn't been testing her that night. He'd been tested by her kindness. Oh, be your kindness. As dawn broke over the hospital parking lot, he turned to her. Iris, he said softly, you once said you owed me everything. But you're wrong. I owe you. She looked up, confused. You reminded me what kindness feels like. What love feels like. You saved me from myself. Her lips trembled. You don't mean that, he smiled. I do. And I don't care what the world thinks. I just know I don't want a world without you in it. Tears shimmered in her eyes. Elias, he took her hand. Let me stay. Not as your boss. As the man you taught how to feel again. She nodded, tears falling freely now. Then stay. A year later, the orphanage had transformed. Bright walls, laughter, hope. Iris managed it with the grace she'd always had, and Elias, no longer the cold CEO, spent weekends there, sleeves rolled up, helping paint walls or play soccer with the kids. They were partners now, in purpose and in life. One afternoon, as they watched the sunset paint gold across the courtyard, Iris smiled. Can I ask you something? She said. Why did you pretend to sleep that night? He chuckled. Because I wanted to see who you really were when no one was watching. And what did you see? She teased softly. He turned to her, eyes warm. The person I didn't know I was searching for. She smiled, shy, radiant, the same as that night long ago. And the man who once pretended to sleep finally knew what it meant to wake up. Sometimes, life's greatest tests happen in silence. Elias learned that power without compassion is emptiness, and Iris proved that kindness, even when unseen, can awaken the coldest heart. Because in the end, what defines us isn't how the world sees us when we're awake, it's who we are when no one's watching. When no one's watching.